Hello everybody, I'm having to refilm the intro to this video after we eventually got back from our 1,000 mile road trip to Scotland and back in a cheap L405 Range Rover, as you can tell by how clean the car is. And I'm having to refilm this intro because the original one I shot before we set off on this trip was full of naive optimism. You see, my plan with this video was to prove the naysayers wrong. It's possible to get a fairly cheap Range Rover and it not be a complete reliability nightmare. See, I've driven from Scotland and back before with 2 children in a 30-year-old Porsche and it managed it without any faults. So this L405 Range Rover, which is more than 20 years newer than that car, surely this can manage it without any faults as well. Yes, how naive of me. And I'm sure there's lots of casual people who've clicked on this video who don't care about a family road trip. They just want to find out what went wrong with the Range Rover. So tell you what, I'll even put a timestamp up here for you if you want to skip ahead. But for everybody else who doesn't have a TikTok attention span, and particularly for any parents who've clicked on this video, if you want to find out what it's like with 4 young children doing over 1,000 miles in a cheap L405 Range Rover, I hope you enjoy this traveling vlog. Come on, let's get into it. My name's Ben. Welcome to Dadcars. So the first part of this journey this evening is a 4-hour drive and we're going to a hotel. Aren't we, girls?
Yeah.
Are you excited about seeing the hotel?
Yeah.
Don't get too excited. It's just a budget one. But it will be fascinating to see what miles per gallon we get on this whole run. I checked the trip computer just before we set off. It's been averaging 25 miles per gallon. Now I'm hoping that it's going to be higher than that, obviously, on this run.
Thank goodness for Crayola.
But it wasn't too long before we had our first technical problem.
Right, so we've been driving for about half an hour and we've already encountered a problem with the Range Rover. Littlest Pickle wants to listen to 5 Little Monkeys. You know, absolutely fair shout. Yeah. Reasonable, but the OEM infotainment system on here is not connecting to my phone for some reason. It intermittently works, so I really need to get Apple CarPlay for this. What's the best Apple CarPlay for an L405 Range Rover? Please comment below. Right, sweetie. Yeah, we're gonna figure it out, sweetie, and we're gonna get 5 Little Monkeys on for you. Don't worry, all right? Right, so I think we solved it. Basically, it's because my wife's phone was plugged in, so the car was automatically connected to my wife's phone. But if you've got your phone plugged in via USB, you can't connect and listen to music from Spotify. It's stupid. Oh, and we've got our first fresh new warning light on the dash of the Range Rover. High beam sensor blocked. Well, let's just hope we don't need the high beams, eh?
And it took me an embarrassingly long amount of time to realise that, of course, the high beam sensor is mounted within the rear view mirror, right where I chose to put the phone mount, which was, of course, obstructing it. So at least the first warning light the Range Rover decided to throw us wasn't actually the car's fault, but instead the stupid driver. And after lots and lots of rush hour congestion, eventually the traffic died down. However, the rain started picking up, and as it started to get dark, I attempted to get the littlest Pickle to sleep.
Red and yellow and pink and green. The girls, we've got to pay a toll. How much do you reckon it's going to be?
Lots of money. Like 50p?
It's not even a person to talk to. I'm going to use Mummy's phone to pay.
How much is it?
£9.70.
How convenient it was on my car.
£9.70.
For what?
I think it's because it's a Range Rover. It's a horrible diesel Range Rover. I think they're punishing you.
Whee! It's the best bit of the toll. Woohoo!
Oh, this weather is dreadful.
What's the best bit of the toll?
You get to safely accelerate away from the troll. From the toll. From the troll. Yeah, a troll.
Felt like a troll,
It did
didn't
feel
it?
like a troll just mugged me off and took £9.70 from me.
From you?
Yeah.
What do you call from you?
Oh yeah, it was Mummy.
It was actually from me. You're right.
And whilst the weather continued to get grottier and snottier, The roads at least remained clear, and so we were able to make good time for the final section of driving on day one. And in these conditions, it was an area where the Range Rover really came into its own, remaining very composed and with the double glazed windows, a lovely level of refinement. I was very happy to be driving this car in these conditions. And when we arrived at the hotel, I checked the trip computer to see the scores on the door. So in 216.9 miles, we averaged 54 miles per hour, obviously with that congestion, and an impressive 32.5 miles per gallon. We grabbed a nutritious beige dinner and then got some sleep ready for the next day where there would be a much longer journey to do.
I love you, Daddy.
See you in the morning. We woke up bright and early and filled up on an all-you-can-eat breakfast before setting off on a much longer day of driving, blissfully unaware that today the Range Rover was going to throw us some problems.
Right, so we've just set off for day number 2 and we've got about 5.5 hours of driving today if we don't hit any congestion. Daddy's not feeling very well today. I started feeling a bit poorly yesterday. I've woken up this morning with full-blown man flu, I think. As there are no such thing as sick days when you become a parent. There's no days off when you become a parent. And the first destination where we're going to now, we've got about 2-hour drive, and it is, what's it called?
Tebay services.
Tebay services. Like half a dozen people have said to us, haven't they? Oh, if you're going up to Scotland, you've got to stop at Tebay services. So we're going to find out what all the fuss is about. Girls, are you excited about this famous Tebay services? Yeah, sound very excited. Oh, and one of the pickles in the back keeps complaining about having a poorly tummy. And I have heard that at their school there was a tummy bug going around, so I don't want to say it too loud just in case that is what's happening, but that would be a nightmare, wouldn't it?
Well, we're hoping she just ate too many pancakes.
Yeah, just ate too many pancakes, didn't you? Honestly, it's why I'm always poorly, girls, is because you go to school, pick up bugs, give them to Daddy, poor old Daddykins. Quick update on the fuel economy. We are now averaging 33.3 monkeys jumping on the bed. I mean, miles per gallon. We've just listened to 5 Little Monkeys for what, like 45 minutes, yeah? The problem is with the 5 Little Monkeys song, yeah? Look, the first of the 5 monkeys that falls off the bed, bumps their head. It's really bad. Look, it happens to all parents, doesn't it? And you feel terrible when your child hurts themselves, bumps their head, tells the doctor. By the time the second monkey's done the same thing, bumped their head in the exact same way, now that's really bad. I feel really bad for the mum because she'll feel mortified that it's happened again. But by the time the third little monkey is jumping on the bed and falls off, bangs its head, I mean, at that stage, you'd think that the doctor wouldn't simply just give the same advice again, would you? You know, he should probably take her aside and sort of say, look, how can we prevent this from happening again? But he doesn't, he just gives her the same advice. So by the time the 4th little monkey bumps his head, jumping on the bed, I mean, at that stage, you'd think the doctor would actually contact social services, right? And the fact that he doesn't contact social services, I think the 5th little monkey falling off the bed, bumping his head, that's on the doctor. Yeah, that's like a safeguarding issue. He's been notified 4 previous times and it's happened again now. I blame the doctor personally.
And just as the repetitive strain and torture of 5 Little Monkeys was clearly driving me insane, we managed to steer the playlist elsewhere.
Turn away and slam the door. It's time to see what I can do. What I've been waiting for all of my life. Right, girls, you want a really special treat that I used to like having when I was a little boy? Yeah? Sesame snaps.
Sesame.
Yeah, get ready. It's going to blow your mind. What do you think, girls? Is that amazing?
Yeah, it didn't blow my mind.
It didn't blow your mind? What? I love those. They are my favourite little special treats to get them from corner shops.
Take the Tebay services exit. Yes.
Here we are, girls. Girls, we are here at world famous Tebay services. Apparently, everybody says you've got to come to Tebay services. And we're going to find out what all the fuss is about, yeah? Oh, girls, look, DB9.
We're not at
Look.
all. They have to care about DB9.
Oh.
I like DB9.
Oh.
So after 324 miles, our MPG 33.8.
So we've had a bit of a sesame snap disaster. I think we've just found out that one of my daughters is allergic to sesame seeds. She gets a bit funny when she eats anything with lentils in, and I think it's the same with sesame snaps. Luckily, we got some Puritan in the back. I didn't remember to bring it. My wife did, obviously. Yeah, it's a 470 sports pack. Lovely.
So one of the main attractions of the Tebay services is this exceptionally posh farm shop. And by some miracle, I managed to steer the whole family past these ridiculously delicious looking cakes. However, I then faced a big fear of all dads, an expensive gift shop.
On earth am I going to get out of this gift shop without spending any money? Yeah, that's nice, girls. Let's pop that back now then, shall we? Yeah. Yeah, should we pop that back then? Yeah, not today, yeah.
Yeah, it's a hug me bit.
Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? Pop that back then. Yeah, not today. Oh, that's sweet. Oh, that's lovely. Should we pop it back then? Yeah. Go on then, pop it back. Oh yeah, that's nice, isn't it? Yeah. Pop that back then. Yeah. Pop it back then. Yeah. Pop it back. Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah. Maybe you'll put it on your Christmas list. Yeah. Oh, that's cute, isn't it? Pop it back then. Yeah, that's it.
She makes him lunch.
All right. Yeah.
And then what do you think happens?
You're not
to
helping
the
me.
lunch?
Mum.
Yeah, but who gets it? Oh my goodness.
That's
Look
very
at
nice.
that.
Very nice. Well, how much are they? Yeah, let's pop them back, shall we? Pop that back, mummy. There we go.
Just as I was starting to panic, I noticed the perfect gift shop diversion, a children's soft play area, which gave the four little pickles the perfect opportunity to stretch their legs in the middle of a long day of driving. I then took advantage of the £1 child meal deal. Basically, for every adult meal, you can buy a child's meal for £1. So single parents and parents like us with more than 2 children are at disadvantage, but that was more than enough food for us to share out between the 6. We then got a bit of fresh air and spent some time looking at the ducks. And I must say that for families, Tebay is a wonderful service. I would highly recommend it to anybody. I then spotted an RS6 and then got in trouble for spending too much time talking to the owner of it. And just before we set off, I made the fateful error of topping up the tank at the Tebay services. Now, this diesel was very expensive, about 10% more than the average cost of diesel at the time. So for this 60 litres, it ends up costing me about £10 more than it should have done.
And we've now got 119 miles on the M73. I am now feeling like I could have a nice nap after eating all that delicious food though. Oh, could you get me a nice, cool, refreshing ice brew coffee from the fridge, please, my darling?
You know you haven't got it switched on.
Oh no, it's not been switched on. I think the gift shop is priced for people who can afford to drive brand new Range Rovers, not depreciated cheap ones like this.
And I think our Range Rover was listening when I mugged it off and called it a cheap one, because just a few miles down the road, it was going to throw a tantrum.
Right, so it's just cruising along nicely, and we've got an ABS fault. It's just come up. Stability control not available. Emergency brake assist not available. HDC not available. So yeah, no idea what that is. So I'm going to have to pull over and have a little look at that, aren't I? Why is that just flashed up all of a sudden? I mean, I guess the only upside is that it's not throwing it down with rain. It's like perfect driving conditions at the moment. But if this fault had happened last night in that terrible torrential rain, this would have actually been like an emergency situation. Because yeah, with all the standing water and everything like that, you need these systems to be working. It's really annoying. Right, sorry girls, we're gonna have to pull over.
Why?
Because there's 4 warning lights on the dash and they're really important ones, so we've got to pull over. I'm sorry. It's really, I know, it's annoying, but it's not safe. It's not safe to drive with these 4 warning lights on.
If I would just stop it to have a look at it.
Don't worry, hopefully we'll be able to fix it.
What have we done? We won't be able to go to Scotland.
Is that disabled there or what?
It's electric, just parking it.
No, you're not allowed. You can get in trouble for that.
Oh. Oh, where are we meant to park if we've not got an electric car?
Oh, fuck, I don't know. Let's park there, shall I?
Park where you
People in dirty diesels are like lepers now, aren't they?
should sit on the side.
Right. Yeah, the suspension feels really like lumpy and not refined as well. It's really annoying because look, our average MPG has just gone up to 34.2. So obviously, first thing that's worth trying is just switch it off and on again. Let's have a look. Well, no, yeah, look. IEB system not available.
Oh.
It's got the traction control or stability control light on there as well.
Daddy, are we still going to go on for the day?
Yeah, well, we have to. We can't just stop, can we? Just stopping on the side of the road's not safe, is it? Is it worth plugging the car in and having a look and seeing? Where is it?
There's biscuits.
Right. Right, it's already found 7 issues. 8 issues. 30 issues found. Now it's saying tyre pressure monitoring system fault. Camera system fault. 33 issues found so far.
What are you making, girls?
Where we are going to try and find 2 Christmas trees for Rebecca girls.
What have you got? Oh, sunglasses.
That's even more issues than Joe's Discovery 4 had. ABS module, 1 issue. ATCM, all-terrain control module
I
issue.
need you to hold it.
Body control module issues, 7. Yeah, see, when all that clicked up, it felt like the
Why are you holding it like that?
ride went less refined as
Not on your
well.
lap.
Speed control module, chassis control module, gateway module, restraint control module, pre-tensioner control module A on the driver's side and on the passenger side, transfer case module. I mean, there's a lot of amber problems here. Yeah, these are all moderate issues. Instrument cluster control module issue, parking assist, powertrain control module issue as well. Blimey, right, okay. Well, let's have a look at the ABS one. What I think we should do, because I don't think it's really safe us just waiting on the side of the road. Like, we just need to get everybody safely to our destination, don't we? And while it's dry, yeah, and before it gets dark and all the rest of it as well. But this isn't good though. This isn't, you know, this isn't nice, and it definitely, you know, fits along what people say, don't they, about Range Rovers are, you know, they're always going to be going wrong and stuff like that. And yeah, this isn't good. We didn't pay like £1,000 for a really old Range Rover. You know, we paid £15,000 for this. £15,000 is a lot of money. So what I think we'll do is we'll clear these issues, carry on driving, and hopefully we can just get to the destination and we don't get any more issues. And then we can look at it when we get there. You happy with that?
Should have just taken the X5.
The X5 wouldn't have given us these problems, would it?
I know, but Mummy, the X5 would get messy before you sold it.
Oh yeah, that's true. Maybe we should just get rid of this car, girls.
Maybe we should just sell this and keep the X5. What do you think?
I know, but then this car will be messy before we
Right, I'm going to clear the issues. So I'm
How
just
are you
clearing.
going to do that?
Wow, because we've got a Carly OBD reader. But honestly, having that Carly, I'm really glad we do.
Oh,
And
I might get a
because,
Carly.
you know, being able to see more details and all of those issues there. You know, it doesn't tell you much at all on the dash of this. It just tells you a few of the things that have got problems. But we found 33 there. So yeah, if we do need to speak to a mechanic or, you know, somebody when we're at our destination, we've got a lot more information there because of Carly. I highly recommend that people do it. Right, so we've cleared those, and then let's just press on, shall we? Yeah, see how we do.
It's going to be dark if we let go in.
Yeah, we don't want it to be dark.
So we continued our journey, only now with an underlying sense of Range Rover fault anxiety. And whilst clearing those faults seemed to have done the trick for most of them, it wasn't long before we got another warning light.
Yeah, it's now saying suspension fault. So brilliant. Yeah. More faults. Yeah, and you can feel the ride as well. It's like feels really like bumpy, doesn't it? Doesn't feel smooth anymore, does it? Up until this point, I was really enjoying driving this. You know, it felt really effortless. You know, a lovely place to be on a long journey. You know, feeling very relaxed and rested and all the rest of it. But I feel the complete opposite to that now. I just feel really, really stressed out and really annoyed with this car. The thing is, if I was driving on my own, this wouldn't bother me. You know, throughout my whole 20s, you know, I always had sports cars, which there was always something broken on them, but you know, you just don't really care, do you? But when you've got young children in the car, suddenly all of this does become really, really stressful. Because, yeah, well, yeah, well, I try not to let you girls know that I'm stressed. But yeah, God, it's just unthinkable, isn't it, that if you were actually stranded and the car wasn't still driving. Look, I'll give it that. At least it is still letting me drive it. I'm glad that we checked it out with the OBD reader, Carly, and you know, they're all moderate. But yeah, you can just feel that the ride is unsettled. Yeah, it's not smoothing out the bumps. Just fingers crossed, I'm just praying it gets us there, and then I can see if I can find somebody to take a look at it.
So we pushed on for some nice, cautious, slow and steady miles, which hopefully will have a result in some PB miles per gallon figures, but there was still something not right with the Range Rover.
So it's been about an hour and a half since we had that issue. We pulled over, we plugged the Carly in, switched the car off and on again, cleared those faults. And yeah, look, hour and a half, the traction control, stability control, all of those warning lights haven't come back. Well, it looks like the only one that we've still got is the ride suspension, like leveling system, whatever you want to call it. That light is still there, and basically you can feel it, like the feedback from the road. You know, it's not ironing out the imperfections. Feels like you're driving a, you know, any other SUV, and also, you know, you can't. It feels really boat-like. You know, it doesn't feel like it's keeping you level anymore. But look, it all feels fine. I'm obviously driving extra cautious because we've got a little bit of light rain, and just in case that ABS light does come back, I'm given ample space in front of me with the next car as well. And to be honest, with this sort of current suspension issue that it's got, this is how I always imagined a full fat Range Rover would feel to drive around. You know, it just feel like a boat. You know, I can imagine somebody getting motion sick sort of being on it like it is. Very, very floaty, wallowy.
So after another hour or so of tentative driving, we hit some beautiful scenic Scottish roads. And then we decided to pull over, stretch our legs and grab some refreshments. At this stage, we had done over 500 miles in the Range Rover and had achieved an impressive 34.2 miles per gallon on average, according to the trip computer.
Once we get to our holiday place, I'll plug the Carly in again. I'll see what it says.
So the faults aside and subsequent warning light anxieties, it did get us to our destination.
This is what 4 kids can do in the back of a car in 10 hours.
And after an unfortunately stressful day of driving, I decided to get some sleep. So you join me the next day. What I want to do now is run the Carly check again on it, just to see how many of those faults that were present when we had the issue, you know, how many are still there. So let's have a look. And yesterday after we arrived, I did call around and I found a local garage about a half an hour drive away. And they said that they could see it this morning and run a diagnostic check on it and have a look themselves. And they were saying it would be £80 to run that diagnostic check. But here's the thing though, I mean, if they did do their own diagnostic on it and then they found that there was actually, you know, a physical problem, you know, say it was a wheel speed sensor or one of the many modules that I'm sure are on this car, one of them was broken and needed to be replaced, we'd have been in a situation where they would order the part and then that might take days and days to come in which case no good to us because we need to get back to get the kids back in time so they can go to school, even if they ran their own diagnostics on it and then cleared all of the faults that they could. I mean, it's effectively what I'm doing here with this Carly. And look, I'm going to speak to Carly when we get back and see if they actually want to, you know, be a paid sponsor on this video. That wasn't the plan before we set off, honestly. Okay, we're up to 92% and it's found 72 issues. 82 issues. 89. This is crazy. No warning lights whatsoever on the dash. Isn't it mad that a complete digital dash and, you know, all of these crazy modules, unless you've got one of these devices, OBD reader, you can't actually get any information. It doesn't tell you anything on here. Right, I'm going to hit screen record because this is crazy. Would you believe it? We have now got 99 problems and the female dog ain't one. Loads of green ones there. Most of them are yellow, but we've got one here which is amber. 3 issues that are amber. Right, what's this saying? One of them saying be careful. Okay, front left
camera. Yeah, basically the left camera on the wing mirror, is it? That's good. So the only severe issue is that camera, which, you know, that for me isn't a major issue. Yeah, so look, these are still showing up. The ABS issue, the ATCM, all-terrain control module, the body control module, that's definitely what the issue that we had for the rest of the journey yesterday. You know, I could feel the ride quality on this was dreadful. Chassis control module, keyless vehicle module, this is just crazy. This is the thing with Range Rovers, right? There's just so much complexity to them that when it's all working, it's wonderful. There's so much more to go wrong, isn't there? Oh, my television module is still broken, unfortunately. Right, so I'm going to try it again. I'm going to try clearing the issues now. Okay, so I've now cleared those. So let's repeat the check now, shall we? Maybe get out and lock the car and then get back in. Sometimes when you lock the car, give it like 10 seconds, I think things can shut down a bit further. Right. Right, let's try it one more time. Be funny if it was one more and we got to 100, wouldn't it? But this is the great thing about having a Carly, isn't it? Is that, you know, you can just repeat the checks. You can check again after you've done a trip. You can check again the next day. Whereas if I'd taken it straight to that local garage, they ran a diagnostic on it, they cleared the codes. If I wanted to recheck it again today, I'd have to drive it back there again and pay another £80. So you will be able to set yourself up with a Carly, get the device, set yourself up for a year for the same price as one trip to a local garage for diagnostics. So, you know, mine's already paid for itself. You know, that one time that I needed to check it, and any additional time that you need it as well. I mean, you're actually saving money there, aren't you? And they work on every car as well. So every car after 2001, pretty much every car that's got the ODB2 port. So right now we've gone from 99 down to 15. So look, obviously keeps all of this on the app there as well, so you can sort of check back and see if, you know, the same issues are coming up and stuff. Honestly, I really like this Carly device. Genuinely do. Genuinely. And I'm so glad that I've got it on this trip. And look, you watching this, honestly, get yourself one. Get yourself one, because the thing is, if you don't get yourself one now, when you need it, you'll wish, you'll be like, oh God, I should have listened to that ginger bold guy. If you suddenly need it and then you order one and it takes a couple of days to come out, that's no good, is it? So get yourself one now. Use promo code Dadcars, save 15% off. Hook yourself up with a Carly as well. I mean, maybe this is just what having an older Range Rover is like. Is there always sort of electrical gremlins, things you just switch it off and on again and, you know, clear the fault codes, and you only need to worry if it keeps cropping back up. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. You know, am I overreacting to this? Any Range Rover owners? But all of this has put a big fat fly in the ointment of the surprising enjoyment I was feeling of, you know, having this L405 Range Rover.
So to see if my DIY diagnostics could save us an expensive trip to the local garage, I decided to load up the troops and go and do a local test drive, because I needed the Range Rover to be behaving enough for me to have the confidence to make the more than 500-mile trip back in a few days. Let's see what happens. Are we going to get any warning lights? So far so good. Let's start driving and see if anything pops up. I mean, it's looking good so far. It feels like the suspension system's all working as it should. Haven't seen any warning lights. I mean, look, it's possible, because there are certain cars that do just throw fits occasionally. I know Ferraris are like it as well. Apparently, if you get warning lights on a Ferrari, you shouldn't worry until you've switched it off and on again, and then you should only start worrying if that warning light comes back 3 times. So, I mean, maybe this is just the Range Rover Rovering. But obviously it's new to us, isn't it? Because the X5 has always been wonderful and easy, reliable. You're never concerned with the X5, were you, that it was going to suddenly start braking? So during our few days of holidaying in Scotland, we drove the Range Rover a handful of times, and each time we drove it, switched it off, switched it back on, drove it again, my confidence started to grow because we didn't get any more warning lights and the car seemed to be behaving as it should. Oh, and by the way, anybody who thought I was mean for not buying the girls anything from the gift shop, we did visit a Scottish gift shop and they all got to pick a memento from their trip as well. But you join us now at the end of our holiday as we are about to embark on our drive back. Over 500 miles, and we were going to do it in one. So with stops, there was going to be around 12 hours of driving. Would the Range Rover behave?
Right then, Pickle, so did you have a nice holiday?
No, because I don't want to leave.
No, because you don't want to leave. Okay, but no, we did. And yesterday, the weather was beautiful. Yesterday, today, as a contrast, we're driving home. We've got to drive back. We're probably going to stop halfway again. But yeah, the forecast is heavy winds and rain. And at the moment, the Range Rover is working as it should be working. And do you know what? I'm feeling optimistic today. I'm feeling optimistic for this journey back. I think a lot of what we've experienced with this is probably just Range Rovers Range Rovering. But yeah, the ride feels good. Haven't got those scary warning lights on the dash, and I've got a feeling that it's got an opportunity to vindicate itself. But we genuinely can't afford any additional delays, because yeah, if we go over by even one day on our plan back, we will have to pay a lot of fines from the school, won't we?
Yeah.
How much would it be?
It's £80 per child per parent.
£80 per child per parent. £480. That's pretty much that's like double the fuel cost. Go for a puddle. Well, ordinarily I'd be like, yeah, sure, let's do that, that'd be fun. But I'll be honest, I don't really want to throw any water up and under the car. Just in case. What if we go through a puddle and then it knocks something loose or underneath the car, and then we get more warning lights? Wow! Oh, warning lights. No, I'm joking. The truth is, like right now, with this car working, I can't think of anything I'd rather be in on these waterlogged roads, horrible conditions. And that's the thing, you often hear people say that about Range Rovers, you know, when they're working, there's nothing else like them. Nothing blends utility and luxury like a Range Rover. But the question is, you know, like fault anxiety, when does that sort of spoil it enough to make it not something that you want to have? You know, you do hear people say that, yeah, I've had a Range Rover, it was lovely when it was working, but I got rid of it and I'll never get one again. And I think it must be for those people who just have a bad time with one.
One last top up of a reasonably priced diesel, and we also got some sweets for the girls, and then we were off on our mission to go from Scotland to the south of England in one day.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool, like with the mixed driving, obviously not all just motorway. The claimed range, according to the dash, is that you should be able to do like 600 miles on one tank of diesel, which that's just fantastic, isn't it?
So with the Range Rover and the kids behaving perfectly, the miles were melting away. That is until I put my foot in my mouth.
Girls, do you know what services we're going to stop at, girls? Tebay services.
There's a different one.
It's a Tebay, but Tebay services on the other side of the road. So instead of a duck pond, they've actually got donkeys there. I just made that up. You're gonna have to Google now and check what they have on the other side, because they're gonna be. Oh, I'm sorry.
Everybody calm down.
That backfired.
What did you say?
I don't know.
They're donkeys.
No, they don't. They don't have donkeys there. Do you know what they've got instead? They've got elephants there. In the gift shop, I think they've got. The Tebay services on the way up did have soft play with a slide, so chances are.
Why again? Why?
Come on, why are they going to have that on one side and not the other? They're definitely going. There will be a little soft play area for you to stretch your legs.
There might be.
Almost certainly going to be.
We then drove past a broken down Range Rover Sport, And it got me thinking.
You know, if you broke down on a smart motorway without a hard shoulder, with 4 children in the back of the car, I mean, even with both of us, that would be really hard to open the doors and get all 4 of the children out of the car and to somewhere safe quickly. Like, but imagine if you're on your own and you had 4 children in the car on a smart motor. Like, oh, it just doesn't bear thinking about, does it? Hey girls, welcome to England sign. We're back in England. But do you remember what happened last time we were in England? The car broke, didn't it? So hopefully that's not going to happen again. But we're making really good time. Girls, we're coming off southbound Tebay services. Who's looking forward to seeing a donkey? What cool car's got? Oh look, that's a Maserati Gran Turismo. What are the odds of that? We saw a DB9 on the way up, and then we've seen a Gran Turismo on the way down.
How would you do that?
How would you do that? Monkey.
Sorry, I just can't listen to it one more time before I eat. Okay. Yeah, we're getting 4 kids out of a Range Rover. It's always an issue.
So having parked the Range Rover like a complete I was very relieved to see that the southbound Tebay services not only has a duck pond, but also an even better soft play area. It's actually in like a separate section, and it's got CCTV screens so the parents can sit in silence, enjoying their coffee and grub whilst their children stretch their legs. And after some food, we all got back in the Range Rover for the final bit of driving.
Right, so we've got nearly 320 miles left. Saying it's going to take, well, over 5 hours, but I think we just push through, right?
Yeah, I think it's worth pushing through.
But we've easily got enough range to get back. So that is pretty cool that the range on the Range Rover will get us from the south coast of England to Scotland in one tank. It's pretty cool. If they fall asleep, we'll be laughing, won't we?
And despite driving into the high winds, which was having an effect on the miles per gallon, the weather remained dry. We did hit a little bit of congestion, unfortunately, but with the Range Rover behaving perfectly, the miles continued to melt away. And with just 2 hours of driving left to go, it seemed a good time to stop and get the girls some dinner. And would you believe it, the milkshake machine wasn't working. I think milkshake machines in fast food restaurants make a Range Rover look reliable. And my wife had been offering to do some of the driving throughout this whole trip, but I finally accepted with this less than 2 hours to go and got to enjoy the passenger side of the Range Rover for the first time other than a short trip. And I have to say, as a passenger, is rather glorious. The fact that the massage and ventilated seats is hidden away on a menu isn't really a problem when you're the passenger. And as I sat there in ultimate luxury and comfort, I couldn't help but think, when it's working, there's nothing quite like a Range Rover. And it did it. It got us to Scotland and back in a way which probably perfectly summarises the Range Rover. Incredible, like nothing else when it's working, but not without its frustrating and stressful problems.
Right, so just carried the 4 little superstar pickles to bed, and I'm exhausted. You know, that was basically a 12-hour road trip with the stops that we did as well. You know, over 500 miles on the way back, and they were incredible. You watching this right now, if you're still watching this video, thank you so much. I really want to do more family road trip videos in a different exciting car when I get my exciting dad car as well. And I wanted to do this one as a test. I've already got some ideas of how I can capture these videos better, because it's really hard, you know. You've got 4 kids, you're going on a road trip, you're doing this, and then trying to film it, capturing it in the right way with good audio and things like that. If you've got any other cool ideas of like road trips that we could do, drop them in the comments below. But also to anybody watching this who has got young children, likes the idea of going on road trips, I know the tendency to be like, oh well, look, they're still young, we'll maybe do it next year, because that's what we've done. You know, even like with this one, like going off to do it, it felt painful at times and it was tough, but I'm so proud of them. As you know, this channel is all about making memories, isn't it? And if you keep putting off till next time, like, oh yeah, we'll do it next year, you
you're missing out on making precious memories. So anybody listening to this right now, I've got young children, if you like the idea of doing a road trip, I highly recommend you do it. Subscribe to the channel, stay tuned, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.